Don't do it in metric either.
Okay. So this is really basic, but I think this will give you a sense of kind of how we work in Canada. This is our great leader, Janet Richards, and then under Janet is our Director of A&D, and then we also have the ADMs that report directly up to Janet. This is A&D here. We have our contracts manager. We have our marketing. So you can see there's not a lot of layers in our model.
You have a contracts manager in Canada at your Toronto and too?
We do, and again, I was explaining to the group that I'm working with that, you know, if I'm working on an opportunity, I meet with Terry Von Zuben to discuss contracts. So we're talking about contracts, we're talking about discounts. If she then needs additional information, then she'll go back to somebody in West Michigan. But I have a direct link into her. So again, there's not that extra.
And you do your vertical markets also, right?
Also do vertical markets. So I sell Geiger product. I can sell higher ed product. I sell Alliance product. I don't sell healthcare because we also have.
They roll up under Janet.
Okay.
And what about government?
Government falls into here.
Pretty simple. And also, you had learned a lot from us, but I think you also had big aha.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it was a big aha for me just in kind of getting a better understanding of how complex it is on your end. And obviously your setup is different and you're doing a lot of business across different states, and I'm sure there's different complexities around that, but still it just feels like it may be there may be some extra layers that potentially don't necessarily need to be there.
And this group does a country.
And you're
Right.
And it's a big country
It's a big country.
with not as many people inside of it, but we're trying to grow that.
And you guys got to do it with Miles, so.
And we have
That's
Lyle
right,
on
we
our
have
team, so we're not carrying an extra. No.
Kendrick, your distribution, I know you have own distribution in your major markets.
Right.
But you have non-owned distribution.
We have non-owned distribution as well.
Jerry Custer does
Dealers.
distribution.
Denise,
thank you. Does Denise work with the dealers in Canada?
She does. Yeah, she works with both our owned and non-owned. Yeah,
Okay, all right, so you do have
we do.
a Jerry Custer.
Well, we don't really have a Jerry, but
Yeah.
Oh, we do. It's a lot smarter and better looking.
But Canada, don't the ADMs have individual dealers that they are responsible for?
You know what, it really depends on the province. So in my case, I am dedicated to one dealership. It's Herman Miller Workplace Resource in Toronto, so our own distribution. But we also have other ADMs that work with the non-owned dealers, and it's different in each province. Okay.
If this works well, is there anything that you would tweak or change? Any way to be even more efficient?
That's a good question. Nothing glaring
Dealer
right.
training, I mean, is there anything?
I mean, yes, certainly a lot of the things that we brainstormed our group around are still things that I would like to see in Canada as well. You know, I think we need to improve some dealer training as well, especially if we're going to kind of move up to that tier 1 and 2 level and let them be more responsible for that third tier. I want to make sure that they're empowered to do the things that they need to do to obviously win that business. So can they be better at presentation skills, negotiating, and all those things? Absolutely. So a lot of things we decided as a group I would like to, you know, use in Canada as well.
The other thing you have, Kendra, is you have national account, at least one, possibly two national account managers reporting to Janet.
That's
so
right.
You have your own SAM group as well.
We do have our own SAM. We have a NAM that sits in here as well. Having said that, there are some ADMs within this group that still do some national accounts as well.
but now that those people report to Janet, though, you you don't have to go to another manager to get approval. If you don't have to go to Janet to get approval, and then she goes to that manager to get approval before you can work with them.
That's right.
We do here.
Right, you just go straight to them.
What does the A&D director do that Janet can't do?
Well, just keep in mind that Janet is responsible for the entire country, so she's looking after all of the A&D and ADMs right across Canada. So it's obviously a very big country that she needs to be responsible for. She's doing a lot of traveling. Stephen is specifically responsible for A&D across the country, and then he reports into Janet. So
He does things very similar to the A&D directors.
He does.
He's on John
he's like a
Newland's team
right.
with the dotted line responsibility. And actually, the marketing person reports to Stephen. Katja
Right.
reports to Stephen. So he has the people managing the NBC in Toronto, as well as the A&D reps across Canada and the marketing function, all report into Stephen.
When you say marketing, do you mean proposals and all of those sorts of things?
No,
Graphics?
I mean, yes, that marketing group does some of that work, but again, what we've been trying to encourage is to have our dealers be responsible for doing their own proposals. So, for example, in my dealership, they have their own proposal center and they're responsible for proposals. We'll help with the strategy around what that needs to look like, but they actually do the work.
So what does this marketing person do?
Any events that we have across the country, again, she will be a backup support, and depending on what the size of that proposal looks like or how complex that is, then she may assist the local dealer or the dealers right across the country on what those are.
So we get to talk about this at the table, but if you had a national account and you needed some graphics or some rendering done, the dealer didn't have the capability, do you across Canada just share the resource? Anybody can go to it. You don't have to get approval from someone else outside of the area to utilize that person.
Right.
Or if you have to use an outside contractor, you tell Janet how much it is and she said yes or no, or do you have that, are you empowered to make that decision?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a combination of both. So in my case, my dealer has rendering capabilities, and with Workplace Resource that has locations in Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, they actually share that single source. So if Lyle in Vancouver needs some work done, Claudio, who's the Michelangelo of renderings in Toronto, will do that work and then send it back. For some of our non-owned dealers, they can, if they choose to, and if Workplace Resource has the time, can purchase the services from Workplace Resource in Toronto, or they can go outside. The ADM that's responsible for that dealership doesn't need to have approval to make that happen. They can just have that done. But I think, again, they're mindful of budget and spending, just as we all are. Any other questions?